Hello there, fellow Monster Madness ghouls and goblins. You're currently hearing the voice of a girl with no name, and it's here with very, very clear intentions to sound the alarm. Before you listen any further, beware that frightful spoilers and deliciously explicit language lie ahead. For once you find yourself in the midst of those telltale bumps in the night and the haunting howls of host laughter and cinematic judgment, there is no turning back. Choose wisely.
Can you help me, please?
Who are you? How'd you get in here?
You have to come with me now. There's a dead woman in your basement.
What?
Yes, dead, all dead. He's killing them, one by one, like cows.
Look, lady, if you don't go away right now, I'm gonna call the cops.
Yes, that's what I've been saying. You need to call the police right away because he's right downstairs and he's probably going to kill you too if you don't get someone down here right away.
What the fuck are you talking?
The clown with the white face and the little black hat. He thinks what he's doing is funny because he's laughing. But I know it's not funny because they're all dead.
Get the hell away from me.
I'm telling you, he knows I know. And he's gonna try and kill me before he kills you.
Don't. Don't.
Help me. Please, help me.
Away from me.
Hi, hello, and welcome to Monster Madness, a podcast dedicated to all sorts of creature features and beyond. I forgot to write an intro for this episode, and I can't think of anything clever because this movie is super fucked up. So yeah.
It's terrifying.
There's Dan.
Go home.
And there's Matt. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hi, hello. So before we get into the episode, normal housekeeping, you can find Monster Madness on pretty much every social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and anything else you could probably think of. You can find Matt occasionally playing video games over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/monstermadnesspod. We also have
he's probably drunk.com.
www.creedthoughts/ We also have a Discord channel for our community that we would love for you to join if you feel so inclined. If you would like to support our show, there are numerous ways you can do that. You can become a monthly Patreon for as little as $2 a month. You'll get early access to free episodes as well as exclusive content. Each tier, you get a bunch more stuff like a pin, a sticker, bunch of shit. Go look at it. For a one-time donation, you can sub to our coffee website. And finally, if you'd like to own some Monster Madness merch, you can head over to TeePublic to peruse our store.
When are we going to come out with a calendar?
2024.
Let's push it to 2025.
Okay, 2025.
All the links for the aforementioned things will be posted in our show notes. So on this episode, we will be discussing the 2016 film slasher.
Lauren, we love you.
Terrifier.
She's in 2. She's not in this one, man. Calm down.
All right. We'll get to that.
D.
What?
Look.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's not funny. I'm about to scream.
Hey, handsome!
Cut it out.
My friend wants your number.
Fucking kill you.
Come buy us dinner.
Stop. Just shut the fuck up.
What? Maybe he'll drive us home.
I'm sorry, she's drunk.
So Terrifier is an unrated movie from 2016. It runs for 1 hour and 22 minutes. It stars Jenna Canal, Samantha Scafidi. I had a teacher in high school with the last name Scafidi. I wonder if they're related. David Howard Thornton. Thornton.
Thornton!
Catherine Corcoran, and a bunch of other people that I'm not going to name. It is directed by Damien Leon and written by Damien Leon. There is no taglines for this film, but the closest thing for the tagline is all they have for the plot summary, which is, on Halloween night, Tara Hayes finds herself as the obsession of a sadistic murderer known as Art the Clown.
Can we point out the fact that this is the second movie in a series?
I did find that out a little too late. All Hallows Eve is apparently the first appearance of Art the Clown.
Yep, but apparently it's an anthology and there's very little Art the Clown that shows up. So it's not imperative to watch All Hallows Eve to understand Terrifier. But I
Okay.
still think it's fucking odd because there's a reference to this being a second movie at the beginning of this movie without there being a direct reference to the first one. And especially this isn't Terrifier 2. It's a movie of a different name.
What's the reference?
But it's the I don't know a better way to
reporter?
put it because
The
my
reporter
brain
with
is
the
fucking
face?
broke. Yeah, it's the reporter who's talking to the girl whose face is all fucked up,
Yeah.
which I believe at the end comes back.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like
it's just like,
yeah.
but it's to me it was still like, well, this happened before. This isn't happening in this movie, even though it comes full circle. You know what? Just fucking cut all this.
Okay, I'm not cutting any of that out, but I guess what you just
That's
need
fine.
to say is watch All Hallows Eve.
I've heard it's you can watch it. It won't add and it won't take away anything.
Yeah.
So like you can not watch All Hallows Eve, still watch Terrifier and get the same amount as if you watched All Hallows Eve.
Word.
I just think it's weird that they do reference the fact that there was something else previous, but don't specifically reference that there was something else.
Gotcha. So
In my brain, that made a lot more sense, and I'll just shut up. It's okay. I'll see myself out.
well, no, you don't shut up yet because you actually met the guy who played Art the Clown, correct?
So it was before I ever saw this movie, which makes it even funnier. So I was at, I think it was Days of the Dead in Chicago. And the guy that I went with, who's my tattoo artist, he had seen this and he's like, well, I really want to meet him. And I'm like, well, fuck it. I got nothing else going on. I'll go with you. So we were talking to him and he, Pete got his picture taken with David. And I was just like, I haven't seen the movie yet. And he just looked at me and he was like super offended. And I'm like, I will watch it when I get home. And he just grabbed the fucking horn and started honking in my face.
Was he
I'm like,
dressed as Art the Clown?
No.
Oh.
Nope. Very much just plain clothes, but I'm like, I don't know what's happening. But he was a super nice guy, and he was an absolute fucking delight. And I think the way that he interacted with me was hilarious, and it made me want to go watch this movie. So then I went home and watched this movie and loved this movie, and here we are. I rewatched this movie.
Here we are. Proud of you that you at least rewatched it.
Oh, of course. There's very few movies that I don't rewatch, but the point of the story is that he made me want to watch this movie because of how personable he was.
That's great.
And as a result, I became a fan, and now I'm really excited for Terrifier 2 because your friend Lauren's in it.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone knew that, but Erica's friend Lauren is in Terrifier 2.
A handful of people know that. Friend is a loose term. We knew each other in high school. We
Your
had
best friends, in my opinion.
all right. We had study hall together senior year, so we hung out a lot that year, which was nice. And just what's interesting about it is that I had zero knowledge that she ever had any interest to act or anything. Like from what I can recall, she wasn't in any of the school plays, which, most theater kids that want to pursue acting or theater are in those. And I don't recall her being that. She was in talent shows and stuff like that because she's like a mixed martial artist. And she's really fucking skilled. I remember that was her big thing in high school, but I'm not going to talk about stuff like that on this episode. But when this comes out, we may have seen Terrifier 2 by now because I think this episode comes out in November.
December. If the math is correct, I think it's early December, which is something I did want to point out, that Terrifier 2 will be out.
And if it is, we will watch it, review it, and it'll come out like soon after this episode releases because I like consistency. And it'll be a bonus for you guys. And I'm very excited because before we get into the plot of this movie, even a little bit, I've heard many people say this, and I absolutely agree with it, that the character of Art the Clown deserves, like if there's a Mount Rushmore and beyond of horror classics and like faces that, is like synonymous with like a terrifying figure, Art the Clown should be up there.
Which it's hard to say now, given what Art the Clown is up against, but it's such a simple face. You know what I mean? It's just black and white with a fucking gangly nose. I don't know a way to put it.
Bloody mouth.
Bloody mouth. Yeah. And even some cheekbones, but like I'm looking at a picture and it's like there really isn't a lot to it. The hat. I think the hat does it more than anything.
The tiny little top hat.
Yeah.
I think he also looks like a little dirty. Like he's got like that grunge, factor to him. So that's a little
He
terrifying.
also wrote his name on the wall and shit, but we're saving that for later.
I didn't like that part.
I have a great story that coincides when we get to that part of the movie.
Okay. I'm a little nervous about that, but all right.
Nah, there's no shit on the wall, but it involves a cook in a toilet.
I think what's the scariest thing about Art the Clown is not necessarily how he looks. I mean, clowns don't scare me, but he is, not to put a pun on it, is terrifying. It's literally just his stillness and his just random jumps and just when he smiles. We'll get to it, but I think that's what really makes it.
I agree, and to your point, we don't want to ruin anything, but I do agree. It's this like how the majority of the beginning of the film, he's sitting there just with a face, like a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Completely uninterrupted by what's going on around him.
Yeah. He's
It
unbothered.
just makes it very unsettling.
Fully
Yes,
unbothered.
yes.
And similar to like a Michael Myers character, but 50,000 times creepier than Michael Myers. Michael Myers is
But we
just brooding
digress. So,
oh,
damn it! She's such a fun.
I'm never saying it again now.
I mean,
Never saying it again.
I
I've
digress.
said it enough in previous episodes. It's fine. Yes.
So I'm actually going to go to the horror wiki film because they actually have a little bit more behind the scenes on this, and I couldn't really find much. So shout out to Horror Film Wiki. So Terrifier is a 2016 American slasher film written, co-produced, and directed by Damien Leon. Art the Clown's character comes after the 2013 anthology film All Hallows Eve, which incorporated footage from the previous short films that were also directed by Leon and featured the character. So that goes back to what you were saying, Matt. The intro of the movie shows a girl getting interviewed, and the girl has an extremely deformed face. She's missing, I think, both of her eyeballs, maybe only one.
I think she's just missing the one.
Yeah, one's definitely gone. The other one's kind of like fucking down by her mouth.
And her nose is.
Yeah.
So she is from All Hallows Eve, though, correct? Because I have not watched it.
I
thought
have
that
not
was-
watched it either.
I thought that was the
Okay.
girl at the end.
I thought so too, but there's also heavy reference to it having been a different thing. Then that's where it got a little confusing. Like it could be a standalone movie, but I still feel like there's references to something that people haven't watched.
Yeah, because if you don't know that All Hallows Eve came first, I did not know that until you told me. So
A lot of people didn't know that Terrifier was not the first movie that featured Art the Clown.
yeah, that was the first thing you said to me. I was like, "Oh, Terrifier's on the list. It's like it's like the penultimate before the end of the slasher season." You're like, "Oh, that's not the first one." And I was like, "Well, it's gonna be on this." But anyway, so Terrifier premiered at the Telluride Horror Show Film Festival in October 2016 before being picked up by Dread Central Presents and Epic Pictures for a limited theatrical release in March of 2018. A sequel, Terrifier 2, is set to be released in early 2022. That didn't happen. Pandemic shit. Blah, 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 blah.
Just- the Wikipedia does now say fall of 22,
Oh, that's good.
but you're reading a different one, which is fine. But I feel, and I wanted to say, I think it's kind of a cool testament to the fact that like you can make a very low budget horror movie that ends up being so, I don't want to say pinnacle, so
Beloved.
influential
Yeah.
that the sequel ends up being in a movie theater.
I think that's like the goal, and it's far and few between that actually happens. I can't think of another like relatively low budget horror film. Which, Matt, is there a budget for this? Actually,
There is
What is-
$35,000.
so extremely low budget film.
Yes.
That is actually shockingly low. I did not think it was that low.
Mhm.
And what was the gross?
It doesn't say. I just
It
have a
doesn't say.
budget.
How do they do
Yeah.
that? Because like there's some good shots in this, like with the gore.
Well, you have to think. Okay, so they get, unknown actors who are probably working for
Yeah,
nothing.
but the scene.
No, I understand. They're putting all the money into practical effects.
Okay.
Art the Clown's makeup is super easy. You can walk into a Spirit Halloween and get white and black
yeah,
makeup.
but I'm saying there's just a lot like the gore scenes. In
That's what I'm
here
saying.
are-
I can guarantee you maybe $30,000 of that went into practical
Right.
effects.
And that's a good, but to the once again, and kind of taking away from where you're currently going, but it's like the idea that the fact that Terrifier itself was such a low budget movie, no one really had any hopes for it. So when they launched there's a Kickstarter for Terrifier 2, they had a goal of $50,000, and they beat it by 430% to get a roughly $250,000.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So that allows for so much more, but I think where Eric is going is the fact that it's like $35,000 can get you very fucking far these days. It was like a really nice camera's not super expensive, and then you're spending next to nothing on talent. I guess is a way to put it. It's just people that want to be an actor, and you're like, fucking come be in this movie for fucking $200. We're gonna dump a bunch of money into practical effects, and the end result may be something that's really cool.
Yeah.
That speaks volumes, in my opinion.
I mean, it's kind of like, not to reference back to it, but it is kind of like a Halloween-esque parallel where what was can you quick Google what was the budget on 1978's Halloween? Because that was Damien Leone, John Carpenter want to make this horror film, super low budget.
The budget was $300,000 to $325,000.
That's a lot more money.
It is, but also we got to get out the inflation calculator. So if we even do 1978, that's $1.4 million now. Even for the sake of what we're doing here, 2017, 1.12 million. So that's still a fucking lot more.
Yeah.
Than what Terrifier was working with.
That's interesting. I forgot it. I didn't think it was actually that much. But either way, it is the same premise of you're making this so-called low budget film, and then it's so beloved that it just catapults into something bigger. Look at the Halloween franchise. It's had some weird movies in there, but it's still really successful. And Halloween Ends just came out, which I'm sure future us are going to watch it and maybe enjoy it. But either way, it's making a lot of money continually. I hope that Terrifier has a similar trajectory because I really, really enjoy the character. So let's put a pin in that and let's talk about the plot real quick. So, a man watching a small TV where Monica Brown, a talk show host, interviews a severely disfigured woman who is the sole survivor of a massacre that took place the previous Halloween. Brown mentions that the body of the killer, known only as Art the Clown, disappeared from the morgue, suggesting that he is still alive. However, the disfigured woman insists that she saw him die. The man furiously kicks the TV, shattering the glass, and fills a garbage bag with bladed objects. After the interview, Monica talks to her boyfriend on the phone and makes disparaging remarks about the interviewee because of her appearance. After she hangs up, the disfigured woman who's been eavesdropping on her attacks Monica, gouges out her eyes, seemingly killing her, and laughs manically.
Maniacally? But,
Maniacally? Is that how that's pronounced?
Mm-hmm.
Maniacally.
Maniacally.
Louis.
But the girl's face. Erica, would you be able to
You need to wait.
Would you be able to interview her with a serious face? Is there ever too much of something? Is there ever too much of something that you probably would be you couldn't talk or?
There's 100% too much for me. Could I speak to someone who had a disfigurement like that? Yes. Could I interview them for thousands of millions of people to see? Probably not, because I, am not a good interviewer.
So, what happened to your face?
You got a little something right here. So I look over here. Is that your good eye? Okay.
Yeah, that probably would be a bad.
It would be extremely awkward, but, if that's your job, that's one thing.
What if you were the girl? Would you be able to live with a face like that?
Daniel, we already have a very long-standing agreement to just kill me. Just kill me if anything like that happens.
But what
if her face ever gets disfigured, please call me. I've been dying to murder Erica for years.
I'm not cutting that out.
What if the rest of your body's good?
It was Matt. It was Matt.
What about you, Matt? What if the rest of the would you be able to talk to somebody like that? I think it would be for me, I think it would be very, very difficult.
Dale, you don't have a poker face at all.
Oh, I definitely would be
You
looking.
would be staring.
It's like in fucking Austin Powers with the mole. Mole.
That would be Dan.
That'd be Dan. Scary. I would, to answer your question, I'd have a very hard time doing it. But to Erica's point is, if it was my line of work, I'd figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different walks of life that you kind of have to. What this girl fucked up in the whole process was, talking shit.
Oh, for sure. She shouldn't have done that at all. Like, I don't think that's very wise to do if the person's definitely there. Like, you could probably go home and talk to your boyfriend about your day.
Be like, it
And
was
be
a little
like,
rough one.
It was a rough one,
It was
yeah.
a rough one. But I try to be as nice as possible. Unless the person's a dickhead, then I just can't control anything. But
if I looked like that and it looked like I had a golf ball coming out of my eye, like, I probably would want to die.
The effects were a little rough on the mangled eye. So I agree. Like, I feel like if someone's face really got fucked up, like modern medicine and technology would make it so that it doesn't look like you have a golf ball falling out of your eye. But what do I know?
Yeah, what do you know?
Probably, but that could have reflected on the budget a little bit.
Yeah, so
If they can only get so far.
yeah. So full disclaimer, my grandfather is 70 years old.
And he has both his eyes.
He does have both of his eyes and all of his teeth, and he's very proud of that. But he is a really big horror fan, but he likes gory movies. Like he laughs at Hostel, which to me, I'm like, you're a fucking sick man. So the other day, I was watching this to refresh for the show, and I was like, Pop, you should watch this movie. And he's like, okay, I'll check it out. And usually it takes him like weeks for him to fucking check anything out. Naturally, in 10 minutes, I get a text that says, just watch the first 5 minutes. There's something wrong with you. And then like literally 90 minutes later, he was like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
I love that Pep thinks you're fucked up.
Yeah, he definitely does. 100%.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Because, he saw the eye gouging. And then like naturally, my 75-year-old grandmother, it walks into the living room and just sees this shit. She's like, Michael, wow! like scurries away.
You're sick.
Yeah. Yeah, she told my grandfather to text me and tell me that I'm sick in the head, which I'm like, fair.
Does your dad listen to these?
My dad?
Yeah.
Mikey?
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Mikey, I love you.
Okay. Just another Mikey shout out. That's fine. He can't see that, but pounding on the chest, pointing up to God.
I even muted myself so you can hear the... There it is.
There it is. Got it. I'll leave that one in.
I heard myself.
Don't do that. Yeah, that was pretty fucked up. I didn't like that. I don't like eye gouging. There's like lines for me in horror movies, and all of them were crossed in this one, but I somehow still really...
fish hooking.
The fuck is that?
That's when you put your thumb in somebody's mouth and then you just keep pulling until it rips.
When the fuck have you seen that? Don't...
Like this. You just keep pulling until it starts ripping.
Either way, I don't like eye gouging. I don't like disembowelments. I don't like fucking cannibalism. Though I will watch a zombie movie because that's not the same thing to me.
They're just not human at that point?
Yeah, it's a monster. That's like a zombie is a monster to me, and like it's like a humanoid. So like it doesn't cross the line. I still don't like seeing it, but it's not as bad.
I think like the worst type of cannibalism is like if you're eating like a baby. It's like that's
Daniel?
the type of stuff like I can't watch. Like on the break, what is it? The Walking Dead, where that happened the one time.
That didn't happen.
I'm pretty sure that happened on that show.
No, they alluded to it, but it did not happen.
Okay.
It was alluded to. I'm sure there's a fucking movie out there that shows it, but I will move on. The sick joy that Matt has on his face right now.
Could be a drinking game.
Listen, someone told me I said I digress too much.
And my favorite thing is that they're like, me, you should do it as a drinking game. And then Dan was like, it should be a drinking game.
You guys are funny. I'm going to go with the plot now.
I bet all three of us do.
You
something.
haven't had a bad review about fucking giving a ravioli recipe, okay?
True. I'm digress girl. You're fucking ravioli boy. What's he?
Fucking sick tits Dan.
All right. You heard it here first. So on Halloween night, two friends, Tara and Dawn, leave a Halloween party and drunkenly wander back to Dawn's car, where they notice a strange man in a clown costume. The man, Art the Clown, follows them into a nearby pizzeria. After a short time, the restaurant owner roughly escorts Art from the premises for smearing his own feces all over the bathroom walls.
Can I tell my doogie story?
Oh, I got one too.
All right, go ahead.
So we were playing in Sheboygan, which is my hometown. We went to eat at the Applebee's beforehand. Erica, you may have heard this already, but we were done eating and we went into the bathroom. It was our guitar player and I, and we were just fucking around being idiots. And we were peeing in the urinals. And Tim was like mid-sentence, and I just heard a plop. Oh, okay. Let me back up here. We walked into the bathroom and the stall door's wide open. We're peeing. and I hear a plop, and I look to my right because I was next to the stall, and I see through the little slats, and there's just a dude taking a shit with the fucking door wide open. So I look at Tim, and he's still talking, and he stops talking. I'm like, we got to get the fuck out of here now. So we go back to our table. I tell everyone we're sitting with. Our singer's wife can see, and she goes, oh my God, he's coming out of the bathroom. And he just went into the kitchen. And then our singer, Nathan, he's like, well, when we all have salmonella on Monday, we know why.
Ew.
That's my shit story.
Oh, my poop story is when your
I'm gonna
homeboy
gag.
was a bagger back in the day at Acme. What's up, Acme?
Acme.
We used to have to clean the bathrooms, and the one day it was my turn to clean the bathroom, and I refused because somebody, I don't even know how they did it. I give them props to this one. They took a crap mat on the wall, and it was probably up the wall like 3.5 feet, and it was stuck, just Lincoln log stuck to the wall. And they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to clean this up," and I'm like, "Fuck, I am. I'm not touching that shit."
Oh my God! Now
You should, yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it reminded me of when I saw the stuff on the wall. I'm like, ugh.
I have a shit story now too, because that just reminded me of one. Okay, so at my place of business, which I won't name here, but the girls' bathroom is notorious
Being grosser than the guys.
for being the foulest place I have ever seen as a bathroom. I work in a place that has awards for being a 100% green building, for, accolades out the ass for being just like, really great for the environment and just really awesome. It looks really cool, blah, 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 blah. The only reason I applied to this place because of how the building looked. The bathroom, though, the girls, there would be blood on the floor. There will be piss on the floor. And similar to Dan's story, I once walked into a stall.
Somebody missed the toilet?
And there was shit. Okay, so if you're looking at the stall, it's a normal stall toilet with an automatic flusher. Has a little sensor. Very minimal. And, a little trash can for, a feminine waste, whatever. And then toilet paper rolls, whatever. Looking at the toilet, you have the sensor in the middle. To the left of the sensor, the whole wall was covered in shit.
The whole wall?
The whole wall. And what I had to surmise,
How?
Was that someone didn't want to bare ass on the toilet, which put a pin in that. Didn't want to bare ass on the toilet, had explosive diarrhea and just fucking shot it out their ass like a hippo.
Oh.
I love the janitor at my place, but they do not pay that man enough. His name is John. He is the sweetest man ever. If you're nice to him, he treats you like gold.
I bet John was like, what the fuck?
Oh, he would come out of that bathroom raging almost every day because they clean the bathrooms twice a day because there's a lot of employees. It makes sense.
Jeez.
He would get you saw him question every decision he's ever made in life. He would clean the men's room 20 minutes tops. He would be in the women's room for an hour.
Because the men's room, the worst is going to be is probably some piss on the floor.
Little drip,
that
yeah.
and a clogged toilet.
Yeah.
Because there's some people they clog a toilet and they run rather than being like, oh, maybe I can fix it.
Who's going to own up and be like, I clogged the toilet?
There's the what's it called? There's the
plunger.
There's plungers at my work.
Oh, there's no plungers at my work. So going back to the pin, when you guys are in public, bars, restaurants, if you're out at a hardware store and the urge hits you, do you squat? Or no, even better yet, when you're driving long distance, which Matt, you do often, and you have to make a pit.
I got stories. You don't even have to finish that. I shit in 2 random places last weekend.
Okay, hold on. And you have to make pit stops at, fucking pit stops. Do you bare ass it? Do you put down the fucking... Hold on. Do you put down the paper? Do you squat and just hover? Are you a hover or do you bare ass?
Physical challenge.
Why?
I bare ass it 100%.
How can you do that?
Because my concern is getting the evil out. And legitimately, so like I said, this legitimately happened last weekend. I was out in Minneapolis.
Do you give the courtesy warm up?
Nope. We ate a Juicy Lucy, which if you're not familiar is cheese between two burger patties. It's a Minneapolis delight. I had a beer, a very large, very heavy beer before that. I ate the Juicy Lucy and the tater tots, and then we went to an art installation at a distillery. And
It gets classy for a moment.
I wasn't drinking there. And I just remember looking at my friend and I was like, oh, this is going to happen. And I look at the distillery and there's a sign and it just says Lindsay's shower. And I said, well, we're about to ruin Lindsay's bridal shower. And it's in Minneapolis. We were in the north. I think it was the northeast side. So it's very progressive. So all bathrooms are just gender neutral. So I ruined it for all genders that may use that bathroom after the fact. And then we went to a coffee shop after that and I shit again. Oh, of course I did. Yeah.
Coffee's
I'm not
just
a fucking animal.
The coffee's just
You're
gonna have to
fucking
make you
Art
have
the
to
Clown.
poop again.
You're
I did.
and
Well, I was very
shit.
tired, so then I drank coffee and then did it again in a coffee shop. And when I opened the door, one of the guys working was just standing there.
Oops, sorry.
I did not even. Oh, sorry. I just walked away and I looked at my friend and I was like, well, that guy knows what just happened. Like, there's no way he doesn't. And then we just walked away. Finished my coffee and I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. To your question though, I think when it's go time, I'm more concerned with getting it out. I don't. If I was presented with a super dirty place, that would be a different situation. But the distillery and the coffee shop were both relatively clean. It's not like I was in like a shitty Walmart and I wasn't a shitty Walgreens.
I think I probably pooped in the nastiest of places.
I've shit in Walmarts, but usually if you go into the back of the store, the bathroom's a hell of a lot cleaner. I mowed their lawn for a long time, so we just went into the back bathroom because it was a lot cleaner. But it's like, dude, when you have to go, you have to go. Like
That doesn't mean you have to make skin
That's like-
contact.
Can you poop in a porta-john, Erica?
No, I'd rather die. I'd
What
rather
about
shit
a-
my pants.
What
I
about
did that once, but I was the first person to shit in it the day, so that's the only reason I did that.
What
Otherwise,
about
I
a
never
latrine? What about a latrine, like a camping latrine?
the fuck
When
is
it's
that?
go time, it's go time.
What the fuck is a latrine?
A latrine is
Hole in
like
the
a
ground?
port. It's a hole in the ground, but like it doesn't really get cleaned. Like they just keep moving the latrine.
It's not my own personal hole. It's literally just like a trench of shit.
No, it's like it's kind of like
No,
you just got to poop
No.
into the hole in the ground.
no,
That's man-made.
no. If we were camping and I had to go and I had to dig a hole and go to the
No, they
bathroom and
usually
cl-
have like those stainless steel like boxes with the
No,
seats. It's just the hole.
absolutely not. Listen, I have like a weird phobia about public bathrooms. Like I just fucking can't. So, and this is the last story, and then we'll continue with the plot because this was supposed to be a quick episode. Never happens. Poop. So we had to take our daughters to the doctor a couple weeks ago because everybody in the house had really bad head colds and ear infections.
She loves that damn bathroom.
It was miserable. No COVID, no nothing. Just really bad head colds that turn into ear infections. We are all finally over it all, it seems. So my oldest daughter had to go to the bathroom, and so I go to take her, and I had forgotten my unrelenting hate of public bathrooms. And it's the doctor's office, so it's very clean. And I had a flashback to when I was a kid. My mom, I think, instilled the phobia in me because when we would travel up to Maine every summer, we would have to make a lot of pit stops because we would go straight through the night. We would leave about 11 o'clock at night, and my mother would drive straight through the night, so we would be there by like noon the next day. And so for us, it was only like a 6-hour trip versus, an 18-hour trip or whatever. It was rough for my mom and my grandma, but they did it. When we would stop in the morning in pit stops, if we didn't go to get breakfast, she would hold me over the toilet basically, and she's just like, pee. So that flashed in my head. I'm like, okay, kiddo, we're going to go potty, but I don't want you touching the seat right now. And she's like, no, it's fine. I put like down the paper. I put down like 3 papers. I'm not even going to lie. And I'm trying to hold her, and she's like, no, what are you doing, Mom? Stop. Like, just let me pee. So like she sat on it, and mind you, she had a Batgirl toy and threw it on the ground. And I was just like, this is how I die. Like just the anxiety was pulsating through my body. We're alive. We're fine. We made it through. But if you could tell from that, I don't bare ass anything. All right, I'm done talking about poop. Move on to this fucking plot. The girls discover that one of Dawn's car tires has been slashed, and Tara calls her sister Vicky to come pick them up. While waiting, Tara asks a pest control worker, Mike, if she can enter the derelict apartment building he's working in to use the restroom. Again, I'd sooner piss on the street. I will never have to pee that bad. Once inside, Tara encounters a deluded woman credited as Cat Person who believes the doll she carries is her infant child. Art returns to the pizzeria where he kills and mutilates the 2 workers before abducting Dawn. So Art goes into this bathroom to distract, moving parts in this whole scenario. He shits. I don't know if he could just shit on command, but he had some beast stored up in him, and
That seems weird to me. Like, I get it's supposed to be poop, but to Erica's point, and it's like, who can just do this on command? Because he comes out of the bathroom and there's not a dookie on him.
Nothing.
I can poop on demand. I'm pretty quick. I'm probably the fastest. I think I'm one of the fastest shitters in the world.
When it's go time, but I can't just shit on command.
I don't know, man. I'm pretty fast pooping.
Go poop right now.
My mom once did call me the fastest pooper in the West.
Oh, God, Art shits all over the walls, and he turns the owner of the pizzeria's head into like a jack-o'-lantern. The one worker was pretty funny. He's just like, this fucking, yeah, make the guy who touches the food. That's real fucking sanitary. It's pretty funny. I enjoyed him.
That's my favorite part.
I enjoyed him because if I was forced to do something like that, which I would never do, I'd sooner quit. I would say something like that.
I thought the pizzeria reminded me of like what you'd see down in Philly. Like
it is.
how
That's
they're
exactly a pizzeria you see in Philly.
All the more reason to never go to Philly, guys.
Hey, some of the best pizza I've ever had was in a pizzeria that looked like
they'd
that.
walk
And
up,
apparently it has shit on it.
because they'll walk up to you if you didn't order anything. They'd be like, "You gonna fucking buy something?"
They're not that.
Hey, you
abrasive.
fucking paisan, eat a goddamn piece of pie.
Pretty much, they're like,
I'm
"You
from
gonna eat
fucking
here?"
Philly. I'm not from New York. Like, what is wrong with you?
They do act like it. Like if you just sit down and don't buy anything, they will be
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck
hell
are you doing? Because they're sick and tired of 13-year-olds loitering in their fucking place of business. Fuck you. Anyway, Tara soon encounters Art inside the apartment building. Tara's pretty cute, by the way. I will say that.
Is that the skeleton?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her name, but I know what she's wearing. He pursues her through the indoor mechanic's garage and stabs her with a scalpel, which he was like, just jiggling it. It was
Corkscrewing
horrible.
that shit.
Oh, it was
Ouch.
awful. He wasn't just stabbing. He was creating so much damage. It was fucking ridiculous.
Would you be able to walk after that?
Okay, let me just tell you this right now. In any scenario where someone like Art the Clown is following me, my ankle could be hanging on by the tendon and I would be running at full tilt. Like Usain Bolt.
It's okay. It doesn't hurt that bad.
Usain Bolt. I would be unstoppable.
Where's my ankle?
Hurricane Bolt.
Yeah, like you could not fucking stop me. No. In the fight or flight, in this scenario, bitch is flying.
Heel to toe. Heel to toe.
She tries to alert Mike, but Art drugs her. Tara awakens bound to a chair, and Art reveals Dawn suspended upside down from the ceiling.
Oh, this was a great scene.
Yeah, it was pretty good. He forces Tara to watch as he saws Dawn in half with a hacksaw. He saws her starting at her vajayjay all the way down to the tippy top of her skull.
Do you think the amount of time that it took that it would actually take that long to do that in real life?
It would take a lot longer.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like,
And I don't even think, can you saw through a skull that easily? I doubt it.
I think you could saw through a skull, but not with that type of saw.
Yeah, it was a handsaw. It was like...
It was a coping. No, I mean, it was like a metal it was a hacksaw. That's what it was.
Hacksaw,
It was
yeah.
a hacksaw.
That would take a while, but it was a pretty fucking intense scene.
At what point do you think you would actually die?
Probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling it at the vagina. You get to the gut, you bleed out so quickly around there.
Well, you're upside down too, so I'm thinking like a couple inches into the vagina, you're gonna pass the fuck out.
Well, not only that, but there are 10 days a month where the fucking blood moon rises, and there's just a lot more blood happening.
Ignore him. I do want to point out
She turns into a werewolf?
what I appreciated about the scene, not so much the special effects, not this, and I've said this ad nauseum on this podcast. To me, what makes a good horror movie is not necessarily the, special effects or the budget that gets put into the movie, not even necessarily like all of the acting, but if you can convince me that you are actually frightened, and I'm like a full empath. If I see someone scared, I'm getting kind of spooked. If someone throws up, I'm going to throw up. If I see someone cry, I'm crying. Like, that's just how I roll when it comes to movies. When Dawn is suspended upside down, her body is like full on shaking in fear. Shaking. Now, I know the dudes in this podcast are probably distracted by the boobs that were jiggling, but because she only had underwear on in this scene, like her legs, if you look at her legs, like they're like convulsing, shaking with fear.
Do you think it hurts though with like being hung up that way?
For sure, 100%. That's not going to feel great.
I'm triggered by the fact that you think that I don't understand what it would be like to take a fucking handsaw up the old gooch. Not only, yes, her titties were great, not because I'm a boob man, but I also understand not only what it feels like to be hung upside down. I have an inversion table. That's just not great.
Oh,
but
okay,
also someone to... What's that?
I'm glad you added that you have an inversion table.
He's like,
yeah. So I'm not.
I do this on the reg.
I got gravity boots.
I'm pretty normal. I understand what it's like to be hung up upside down.
I'm upside down right now.
But not only to be handsawed, but to be handsawed in the old prives it sounds fucking miserable. Guy, girl, otherwise, just that motion of like I've handsawed something, and just the understanding that it's like a a very slow, painful back and forth process.
Ain't ideal.
No. So man, woman, or otherwise, it cannot be fucking comfortable.
Yeah.
No.
And Art's got some
especially
stamina.
when hung upside down, and you could see the fear in her eyes.
Because you know what? Like, you see these movies and it's like really hit or miss whether they're going to like overact or, you know, just be just like so unbelievable. But I would have to say, like, the two leading girls, Dawn and Tara, they did a phenomenal job.
But
at conveying their fear.
It kind of felt like almost every chick in this movie was like a leading role for a good 10 minutes each.
Well, let's just put it this way.
Each one of their kills, you know?
The leading role was Art the Clown, and everybody else was just in his way.
Okay.
And this is the next point that we're about to make with the plot is actually something some people have issue with in this movie. They're like, oh, he can't be a real slasher. So he forces Tara to watch as he saws Dawn in half with a hacksaw. Tara escapes, but Art draws a handgun and shoots her to death. That shocked the shit out of me because you assume Skeleton Girl Tara is going to be your final girl. But what you're going to learn about Art the Clown, and which kind of makes me very nervous about watching Terrifier 2, because at this point, I haven't yet at this recording, but if you see Terrifier 2 pop up, you know, after this episode drops, I have watched it. I'm nervous for my friend because it does not seem like Art the Clown allows for survivors in any way, shape, or form, except that one girl at the very beginning of this movie.
Eats her face.
Yeah, he ate her face. So I'm concerned for you, Lauren. I may eat my words, but I'm concerned. The cat lady witnesses this and begs Mike to call the police. Mike dismisses her, Mike is the janitor, as insane, but Art soon knocks him unconscious with a hammer. The cat lady discovers Art cradling her doll. In a plea for the return of her child, she tries to show motherly compassion to Art by cradling him. He starts sucking his thumb. He starts kind of rocking back and forth. It's very disturbing, especially because he's holding a fake doll. I would not go anywhere near him. I'd be like, take the doll. I don't need that fucking American Girl. Go away.
The fake doll part seemed very fucking strange to me, but I don't want to get into it too much. It just didn't make sense with the movie.
I think they were just giving an excuse for why this lady would go anywhere near him and have an excuse to... I understand what you're saying. It was kind of out of nowhere.
Well, she also was like, we have a new neighbor. We're going to do laundry together.
Yeah.
Let's be friends and all this other
You know, they
weird
plop
stuff.
this insane woman into the dilapidated apartment complex or whatever it is, the building, to kind of lead for something for Art to maybe have like a gleam. Because she asks him, she's like, something along the lines of like, there's a kindness in you. You're not all bad. Well, we're about to find out in about 2 seconds if Art is all bad. Vicky arrives to take Vicky is Tara's sister. Vicky arrives to take Tara and Dawn home, but is lured into the basement by Art. And before I forget, I touched on it a little bit a few seconds ago, but like I was genuinely shocked when he just like unloads a gun in Tara's face. Because like I said, I thought she was going to be the sole survivor because they make her out to be. And I just, it still shocks me. There she discovers what she believes to be an injured Tara, but is actually Art, who has severely mutilated the cat lady and is wearing her scalp and her breasts, which was so fucking creepy and so fucked up. Ugh, it actually like gave me goosebumps.
Doing the little dance.
Yeah, it really, like, I have it playing in my head and like I feel.
So I don't get, like, if you did that, how did everything stay in place?
Probably the fucking bits, like the muscle, the blood, all the goop, just he has it on in his body.
Stuck like glue?
Or maybe he was like Chrome Skull and he had like that like adhesive in his like fucking his
little trash bag.
Yeah. Call back to laid to rest. Mike's coworker arrives looking for him because Mike, he woes to call his one coworker earlier in the film before he gets hit and he gets lobbed in the head with a hammer, and he never actually gets to talk to him. But the guy comes to his aid anyway. Mike's coworker arrives looking for him, but he is decapitated by Art. Vicky escapes Art, but stops to grieve upon finding her sister's corpse. Art then attacks her with a makeshift cat o' nine tails. Cat o' nine tails? What the hell is that?
Oddly enough, I know what this is. Cat o' nine tails was a biblical.
It's like a whip.
It's a whip.
A biblical whip, but it was 9. Single hand, 9 strands coming off of it, but each strand had like a little rock at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So when you'd fucking whip someone, all 9 would hit your back, and then you'd pull it out. It would just rip the shit out of your skin.
Oof.
Private schools, what?
Taught me that in kindergarten. What? You learned something new. I just thought that was a whip. That's why it threw me off, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Ouch.
But Mike arrives suddenly and knocks Art unconscious. The two flee and call 911, but before they can escape, Art appears and kills Mike. Vicky retreats into a garage and Art rams through the door with a pickup truck, causing further injury to Vicky. As she lies helplessly, Art begins to eat her face. So fucked up. Police arrive, but Art shoots himself in his mouth with a pistol before the officers can apprehend him. Art's body is taken to a morgue along with the bodies of his deceased victims. When the medical examiner unzips Art's body bag, Art reanimates and strangles him to death. 1 year later, Vicky is released from the hospital after rehabilitation from her injuries inflicted by Art. She is revealed to be the severely disfigured woman from the film's opening scene, thus the events of the entire movie took place that previous year. So
she was the girl from
She was the girl that you saw gouge the talk show host's eyes out in the beginning of the movie.
Thought so.
I thought so too. That's why I was confused when there was like a callback, like, oh, some of this stuff was from the first movie. Again, I haven't seen All Hallows Eve, so forgive me for that transgression. But that is the plot of Terrifier, and it's fucking terrifying. There is no Questions of the Damned because there isn't a lot for this movie, unfortunately, but I will read some of the trivia that goes along with this film.
Physical challenge.
You have to eat Dan's face.
Dan, can I put ranch on Dan's face?
That's disgusting. So some trivia for this.
Sauce.
That's what I put in my beard.
So the ambulance that drives past. Here's some trivia. FYI. The ambulance that drives past Dawn as she listens to the radio broadcast in the car was unplanned. This was a real ambulance that went by. David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, has previous mime experience, which he utilizes in his performance.
And when he met Matt.
I just find it, like, his performance is just great. His facial expressions, how he walks around. There's a point where he's on a tricycle. There's a part where he's walking through, like, a junkyard, it seems like, and Tara's hiding, and he's, like, tiptoeing, and he just suddenly jerks to the side. He has a very still effect about him that is just, it adds to the chilling that is Art the Clown.
He's got good timing.
He really does. This is the return of Art the Clown, as he was previously used by the same director in the film All Hallows Eve. Jenna Cannell insisted on remaining tied up in between takes of the scenes so that she would feel psychologically as if she were tied up when they were filming. So, a little method acting right there. This movie is based on the short film Terrifier from 2011, which I have not seen that either. I just learned that right now, so I'll have to look that up. I think Matt is doing that probably right now. The jack-o'-lantern shown in the pizza parlor is actually CGI. Director Damian Leon said he wanted the scene to have more of a Halloween feel to it, so he added it in post-production. The girl who plays Dawn was filming Chuck and another horror movie during the making of this film, when the girl who plays Tara was also filming The Bye-Bye Man. The production had the difficult task of working around their shooting schedule for these other projects in order to film their scenes together. The scene in the pizza restaurant was originally meant to take place in a burger restaurant, but Damian Leon changed this when he realized that both girls were vegetarians. In All Hallows Eve, it was made clear throughout the film that Art the Clown was supernatural and not just a human in a clown suit. It is not clear in the film until the end when Art has some supernatural presence. And the very last trivia, and then the end of this episode. At the beginning of the film, in Monica's dressing room, there is a sign which reads, "The end is just a new beginning." This foreshadows the ending reveal that the first scene, in fact, takes place after all the other events depicted in the film, and that the unnamed deformed girl being interviewed is the final girl, Victoria. Is she a final girl, though? Because
Not anymore.
not really. I mean, she's still alive. She is alive, but anyway. So that's the trivia for Terrifier. Didn't really suffice enough to make any questions of the damned, so everybody gets a point this round. Yay! So we're going to go to the final segment of this shit show, literally, because we talked about poop a lot. Yay, nay, or slay? For me, this is an easy one. This is yay. I think this is a great movie. I'm really excited to see Terrifier 2, not just because a girl from high school is the lead, Sienna, but because I genuinely think that with a bigger budget, with growth in writing and all this other shit, it's going to be even per reviews, early release reviews, it's better than this one. It's longer than this one. It's fucking gorier than this one, which is scary. I love it. I want to see about 5 other Terrifiers, and yeah, it's a yay for me. Daniel?
Oh, it's definitely a yay. I very much appreciated this movie. Caught me by surprise a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that a lot. And I just overall thought it was a good movie. Like you said before, how like it didn't pertain to who's safe and who's not. I like when things like that happen. So go see it.
Matthew?
It's real good.
Well, with that note,
sorry. All jokes aside, I would give it a yay. It's a super entertaining movie. It is something that I've recommended to people along the way, outside of this. Even like I mentioned earlier, like it's one that I wasn't sold on. I wouldn't even say I wasn't sold on. I wasn't sure about it, and then I met David, and that just pushed me to watch it. And it's something that Alyssa and I have watched now multiple times, and every time it's like there's shit that I noticed that I didn't realize that there was there before, and it's always a super enjoyable movie. So I'm equally as excited for the second. I am actually trying to find the short from 2011 as well, and going into that little dirt hole. But it's real good.
it is real good. It is a good, guys. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Monster Madness. Remember, you can find all of our links in the show notes. We really appreciate that you're here. We are coming to the very end of the slasher season. It's taken a long time to get here. The next episode is going to be the last episode of that season. We're covering a movie called Hellfest, which I didn't know about until we started the season. I think it's a good one to end the season on. And yeah, we'll see you on that one. And it also will close out 2022 with that shit before we get into the Twilight Saga, which Matt is super excited for.
False.
True. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't bear acid on toilet seats in public.
It's just don't shit in public, kids.